Hey everyone, Vincent Ayala with Barco, here to talk to you about presets. Today I'm joined by Will Rose, an up-and-coming freelancer here in Northern California with deep roots in video production and live event work. Will, thanks for being here, man.
Thank you for having me, Vincent.
Hey, you're welcome. All right, let's rock this.
Let's do it.
All right, let's jump right in. Here's what we're covering today. We're going to walk through the equipment setup, complete presets, conflict resolution, relative presets, and how to deploy these presets. Before we get started, let's talk about the equipment setup. I call this the mini GS. It's 2 flanking screens, 2 DSMs, 1 multi-viewer, and that's it. Will, are there any questions about today's setup?
No questions. This looks like a familiar show layout. Let's jump right in.
Perfect. For context, Will helped us test Encore3 in the pre-release phase, so he knows complete presets very well. But he mentioned he's looking to expand the knowledge on real-world relative preset use cases.
That's right. I know how to build presets. I'm just looking for some expert level tips on how relative presets get deployed on some more complex shows.
Let's get started with complete presets. These presets store entire destination states like sources, layers, transition times, everything. They also record destination activation, also known as whether a destination will be transitioned to program or not. Will, could you explain why presets are so important in live events as well as integration?
Absolutely. Presets allow us to create show looks to multiple destinations. They also allow us to recall those show looks from external devices.
Yeah, Will, that was spot on. Let's start by creating some complete presets. Since we're in Event Master Toolset, let's cover the setup first. So screen left is patched to this HDMI, screen right to this one. We've got our 2 DSMs, which are patched to our SDIs. And then we've actually assigned an output for our multi-viewer as well. Because the multi-viewer is internally created, we could use it as a source for like a layer in a destination. We could use it as a source for an aux, or again, we can patch it directly to an output. Additionally, we have 2 graphics and 2 playback machines coming in, and you can see those on our multi-viewer here. Then we're going to jump over to the programming page. Here on the programming page is kind of where all the magic happens. This is where we interface with Event Master and create presets, build user keys, adjust sources. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a layer from our screen layer bar, and we're going to drop it into our destination, and then let's center it, and let's take a source and utilize that source inside of that layer. And we'll do the same thing for the screen right. We'll take a layer from our screen layer bar, drop it in, and drop in our source. Additionally, we're going to select it and center it. And let's take the same graphics one and drop it into our DSMs as well. You can see all these drag and drops happening live on your multi-viewer. Now this preset tab has this little preset creation furl down. We're going to click that, and it gives us the option to record a complete or a relative. For this demonstration, of course, we're going to use the complete. And then we've got some modes like rename and lock here that we're going to talk about in just a second. But effectively, once we've created our look in preview or program, we have the ability to save it from preview or program. Additionally, once the preset has been recorded, we can overwrite it from preview or from program. For this, I'm going to save from preview. And then I'll go down and double click the name and call it GFX1 all. And next to that, you see a C indicating that it's a complete preset. Right next to that, we have the lock. Make sure you lock all your presets so you don't delete them, right? We work so hard at creating these beautiful looks. Why would we want to delete them? Speaking of the lock, can I ask you to walk us through the mode options here inside of presets?
So let's just check out our first mode, rename. So we've selected that. We'll go ahead, create a new preset with playback 1 in our main screens as well as one of our DSMs. We'll save that preset from preview, and look at that. We will be automatically prompted to name our new preset. We'll call that one PB1.
Perfect. Now, along with the rename mode, there's also a lock mode. Will you tell us about the lock mode as well?
Absolutely. So selecting lock mode, we're going to go ahead and start to create another preset. Doing the same thing with playback 2. We will save from preview and give this a name for our preset 3, playback 2. And as you'll see, as soon as I finished renaming that, it automatically locked, which will stop us from deleting it, overwriting it, or affecting it in any way.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Thank you for that. Real quick before we move on, I want to talk about a couple of other key pieces of information, some icons that we see here on the preset tab, like the lock, unlock all presets. We have the move presets to new existing folder button, which if we click it, we could potentially create a new folder and then move very targeted or very specific presets into that new folder, like maybe a morning show, an afternoon show, an evening show. Additionally, we could enable, disable drag and drop reordering of presets if they are unlocked, where we can drag and drop and reorder them. Now it will give it new numbers depending on order of creation. So if I dragged 1 down after 2, then it would call it 2.5, right? And it would reorder the numbers for us. Furthermore, I could search for presets by number or name, and I can delete selected presets. Now we don't want to delete them because we want to really work through these. On top of those buttons, we have these 2 toggles here, preset to program and auto recall. Would you mind showing us what those do?
Not at all. That first slider, we will toggle on auto recall. And now that that's enabled, we'll see that as soon as we click onto one of our presets, it automatically goes into preview. We'll repeat that for the other preset there, and we can see the behavior. The other slider, if we click preset to program, now with a single click, we will automatically take our preset into preview and transition it into our program.
Very nice, very nice. Now, if we did actually untoggle those, like the preset to program and the auto recall, we could use these buttons down below called recall previous, recall current, recall next. And what that's going to allow us to do is that's going to allow us to trigger these presets into preview in succession, right? So if I were to hit recall next, it's going to go from 2 to 3. If I hit recall previous, 3 to 2, recall previous, 2 to 1. So it just allows us to basically line up our presets like if we were following along with a cue sheet, and we could just bang them one after another. Additionally, we could use keyboard shortcuts, which are already pre-mapped to the recall previous and recall next, and use the keyboard to cue our show, right? Furthermore, I want to create one more preset with 2 destinations selected for transition and 2 not selected, so that we could see that the record of the complete preset not only covers the information inside of the destinations, but also whether they're going to be transitioned or not when you recall that preset. So I'm going to deselect the DSMs, and let's go with graphics 2. While leaving graphics 1s, maybe these are notes now. Maybe we've toggled monitor to show notes in graphics 1. So we got graphics 2 on screen, graphics 1's notes inside of our DSM, and we're going to save from preview. And so I'm going to call this GFX2. So if I recall GFX1 all, you'll notice that all of the destinations activate for transition. If I recall GFX2, you'll notice that the 2 screen destinations have activated while the DSMs deactivated. Now, if we extrapolate that, look at that at scale. If you had multiple destinations and you only wanted to, say, work on your flanking screens but not on your DSMs, you could create presets that are just for your screen destinations but also not affect your DSMs, or vice versa. You could work on just your DSMs but not affect your screen destinations or your records or kind of any other destination you want. And if you use the features like the folders, you could separate your show out into geographic locations. So you could have a folder that's just for your DSMs. You could have a folder that's just for your screens. You could have a folder that's just for your record, right? And those presets could affect that. These tools let us organize presets cleanly, and the numbering becomes extremely important when working with controllers or external device control.
That's great, Vincent. 90% of our shows use mixed layers, but what if I need a higher layer count for a show?
Then we can utilize single layers.
So what happens if I create presets that introduce a conflict? For example, I have different sources on the same single layer across different presets.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Let me give you a quick demonstration on conflict resolution. Let's force some conflict. Alrighty, so we're gonna focus in on screen left. Screen right is still checked, meaning it's armed for transition, so it will transition when I hit the all trans. But again, focusing on screen left. Now let's clear everything out and we'll all trans. So we're working with a clean preview. This is kind of the easiest way to trigger this conflict. And what we're gonna do is we're going to select layer 1, and we're gonna hit this split button. Now this split button splits that mix layer into 2 single layers. So if we pull out 1A and we drag it in here, and let's just make it smaller for fun here. We're going to record this as a preset. So split layer 1A, if we say save from preview, and we'll say PB1 1A. All right, now, if we wanted to maybe change to graphics 2, we can drag and drop graphics 2 from our source list and we'll save it as a preset. So we'll call this one GFX2 1A. Again, I'm actually labeling the layer inside of my naming convention just so I can better keep track of it. Now, if we recall playback 1 to preview or graphics 2 to preview, you'll see that there is no real conflict because you're in your preview bus. We can change that without alerting or without triggering any conflict, and thus no conflict resolution. But if I were to take graphics 2 to program and I were to recall playback 1 to preview, watch what happens, watch very closely to our program. As soon as I hit recall current, even though program is locked, it pulled the layer from program, brought it into preview, resolved the conflict, and now it's awaiting our transition. All right, so let's see that again. Let me take playback 1 to screen. And if I select graphics 2 and I hit recall current, it's going to pull it from program, resolve the conflict, load it into preview, and then await my transition call. And so then I'll hit all trans.
So what are the other ways that we can resolve conflict on program?
Great question. Now, if we look into the configuration page, there's what we call preset conflict modes. So there are multiple modes. By default, it's set to auto. One of the other ways right off the bat is force recall. So if we select force recall and we go back to our programming page and we recall one of these presets or recall this preset, playback 1, when we hit recall current, it's going to automatically recall it in a single frame cut. It's going to force recall. Additionally, we have a couple of other modes that we're going to go through here, like off. So if we do off and we recall this preset that is going to trigger conflict, it will tell us error, conflict detected, preset is not recalled. So I'll hit cancel and let's try it again. Graphics 2, again, conflict detected, preset is not recalled. So it stops you from removing your pip from program or hard cutting live on program. So we're going to hit cancel for that one. And we're going to go back to our configuration and we're going to choose one of my favorites, which is user confirm. And what happens is whenever we trigger a conflict like recall current, it will give us a dialog box that says preset resource conflict detected. Preset cannot be recalled due to resource conflicts and preset conflict mode is set to user confirm. Please choose from the options below. Well, the options below are resolve all trans, resolve cut, and resolve wait. So I would probably more than likely choose resolve all trans, which is going to bring it off program, resolve the conflict, and then put it back into program for us. Now, with that mode, what that does is, again, that gives us a prompt without affecting what's on program. So it's kind of like a fail-safe. If we were to choose a conflicting preset, it gives you a bunch of options on how to handle that conflict resolution.
Yeah, I agree, Vincent. It's really nice how this gives you the flexibility to decide how you want to manage that conflict in real time.
All right, now let's move on to relative presets. Most of the UI remains the same, but the key difference is we've introduced a show hide toggle, which designates the active layers included in the presets. So in other words, a relative preset is more like a targeted preset and less like a complete preset.
So maybe we could use relative presets for something like a logo in the corner.
That's exactly what we would use that for. Logos, clocks, lower thirds, all that cool stuff. Let's walk through that now. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go back to my presets here. I'm gonna go back to my preset 1 here. I'm gonna hit recall current and I'm gonna transition that to program. Now to enact a relative preset, what we wanna do is we wanna go up to the preset creation here and we want to choose relative. All along we have been using complete, and we know that because inside of our preset, it shows a C for complete. When we record this new relative preset, it'll show an R for relative. So it gives us a visual differentiation, so we know which preset is complete, which preset's relative. But let's tool down on this a little bit more. So let's say we wanted to do that logo in the bottom right-hand corner. Well, what I would do is I would bring out a layer, like say layer 4, and I would drop that inside of the bottom right of the screen. And for this, what I want to do is I actually want to hide all of the other layers, including the background, from being recorded into this preset. So how would I do that, you might ask? Well, I'm going to go to layer 3, select it, and I'm going to hit hide. Then I'm going to go to layer 2, select it, and hit hide. Layer 1, hide. Then I'm also going to do the same with background and hide. Now, the only layer that's being recorded for this is going to be layer 4. So if I hit save from preview, it's going to save this as a logo bottom right. Again, saving all the parameters of the layer. It would observe the crop, it would observe the mask, it would observe the size, the position, pretty much everything you see there, right? Except it will not save all of the other layers parameters. So again, think of this as a lot more like a targeted preset. I want to select this layer on this destination, and I don't want to select any other layers for the record. These are the only things that are going to be recalled when I hit this preset. Now again, we have preset 7 here, logo bottom right, and there's an R next to that to signify that it is a relative preset. Now, speaking of, you had mentioned about advanced workflows. Well, one of the things that we want to just start off right off the bat with is creating an exit look for that pip, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to clear that layer. Now, just because that layer is off screen doesn't mean it's not being recorded. In fact, the state of it being off screen is actually being recorded because again, we have hidden all of the other layers, including the background, and the only layer that we're paying attention to is 4, right. And that one is off screen.
And you can see still that 4 is visible there and all the other layers are hidden.
Yeah, exactly. So if we hit save from preview, we'll call this one no logo bottom right. Then we can go ahead and recall logo bottom right or recall no logo bottom right. Same concept as a complete preset, except again, a lot more focused, and we have chosen what to focus and what to not focus on. So where do relative presets really shine? I mean, that looks just like a normal preset, right? All I did was create a look and I hit save, and then I created one without a pip and I hit save. That looks fairly simple. Well, where relative presets really shine is that they allow you to kind of create a workflow that optimizes the amount of presets that you would create. So if I wanted to recall that preset 2 and then bring in the logo, I would have to make a preset, actually 2 presets, one with that logo on, one with that logo off, and then I would have to do the same for preset 3. So those 3 presets now have turned into 6, right? Because it's one on and one off for each one of those presets. Well, with our relative preset, when we transition that playback 1 to program, I can recall that relative preset without affecting what's on program. As you can see, with 1 or 2 relative presets, we can apply that logo to all 3 looks, meaning we now have 4 to 5 total presets instead of 6 to 12 or more. And notice if a pip or element doesn't exist in the preview, Encore3 performs a match program operation on recall.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. It saves a lot of time because you don't have to create different presets for every possible combination.
Exactly. Remember, this isn't just for logos. This also works extremely well with lower thirds that may or may not include keying and, of course, backgrounds. Shout out Tim Cashel. When we did this relative preset example with backgrounds a few years back, go check that video out if you want. It's pretty informative. Let's cover preset recall inside the controllers really quick, utilizing Event Master Toolset, since we have this cool controller emulator and controller programming page over here. So if we take a look at this controller page, we have all of our presets here in the preset tab, all ready to go to be assigned. Now, by default, we have this auto map assign bus enabled. What that means is for every preset that we create, it will automatically assign it to the page 1 or more of the preset assign bus. So that here we have the preset assign bus. By default, it's on the EC30. It's the top one. We can scroll through this and use queues, flexes, user keys, source, or the preset bus. Again, these are automatically assigned. Now, to recall these, and what you'll see in our multi-view there, is if I select one of them, it will rack it into preview. And then I could hit all trans, and it will transition it. This is active for every user, so you don't technically need a controller, but the physical hardware is really nice to have, and especially in a show environment where you have a tactile feeling controller to do this. Now, you might say, well, what if I don't really like the way that you assign them? Maybe I want to assign them through multiple pages. Can I delete them? Absolutely. We would go into delete mapping. We can select them individually. We can select them rows at a time, or we can deselect the deletion. You can also auto assign them yourself. So say preset 1 through 8, you would just hit assign presets and choose your start page, and it would just assign them all together. Additionally, this isn't just for the EC30, this virtual controller, it's also for the EC50, which happens to be the left side of the EC210. Speaking of the EC210, I'm going to show you here that we have the right side of the EC210 now, where we can actually start emulating EC210 behavior inside of Event Master Toolset. Furthermore, I'm going to give you a quick lesson on how to recall these. So if I wanted to recall preset 1, and remember we talked about inside of the programming page how the numbers are very relevant. So we're going to use 1 through 3. So we're going to say 1 through 3. We're going to go to our controller and we're going to say preset 2, enter. And we notice that popped up on our multi-viewer. Or we can do preset 1, enter. And now we've got preset 1 in preview. Or we can say preset 3, enter. And now we have preset 3 live on our multi-viewer. So these are just awesome features that we've added to Event Master Toolset to help you with either your live controller or utilizing a virtual console. All right, all the presets we just created, complete or relative, can be deployed through hardware controllers like the EC30, EC50, and the new for 10.1 EC210. We can also use Stream Decks, MIDI devices, or any system using the JSON remote protocol, such as QSys, Crestron, and most integration systems.
Well, that's cool. Tell me more about JSON support. I know it's crucial to how external control works.
That's right. In fact, that's what the Companion and Stream Deck modules are built off of. Now, if we were to go into Event Master Toolset and take a look at the settings and then go to the Use JSON, we have a JSON-RPC API built into it, and you can actually test those JSON commands before deploying them. Like, say, you could create your own app. You could use these inside of your own modules for Companion. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with this. We don't have time to talk about it today, but I urge users to check it out.
Well, that's really cool. Some very exciting features and ways that you can customize control of the Encore3.
Yeah, perfect. All right, that wraps it up. Today we covered complete presets, relative presets, conflict resolution, common use cases, and controller workflows.
Well, thanks for having me, Vincent. It was great to be here and to walk through the amazing features of the Encore3 with you today.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining. And if you want to hire Will to help you successfully navigate the features of the Encore3, look this guy up on LinkedIn. His profile will be in the information section of this video. Remember, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to us at encore3@barco.com. Thanks and take care.